Welcome to Inspired Conversation. My name is Nkandu Beltz and our guests today, Tegan Davis and Sam Lin. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
So, before we start, is it okay if you could tell us a little bit about yourselves and what you do?
Yeah, I'm a PhD student at the University of Western Australia, and I grew up in the country but came to Perth to do my university studies, and I started practicing the Falun Gong form of meditation when I started doing my PhD.
Oh, wonderful. So what are you studying?
I studied environmental science and how mangrove ecosystems function in Western Australia.
Oh, that's wonderful, and that's very different to what you're practicing now.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. And Sam, could you tell us a bit about yourself?
Actually, I studied practicing Falun Gong from 1993. That was before I went to uni. After uni, actually, I became a chemical engineer. Used to work on polymers for Nike and New Balance. In 2008, I migrated to Australia. Now I'm working as a sales and marketing manager for media.
Okay, and where did you migrate from?
I migrated from China, officially.
Yes, yeah. Oh, that's
So I
wonderful.
migrated from China I migrated from China I migrated from China in 2008.
Okay, and so straight from China came to Perth?
Yes.
Oh, wow, wonderful. Wonderful. And so what is Falun Gong? What is the practice itself?
Yeah, so I understand Falun Gong as being a form of ancient moving meditation. So it originated in China, and it's been practiced for thousands of years, but it was always passed down from a master to a single chosen disciple, generation by generation.
Yes.
But then in 1992 it was released to the public so that everybody in China could benefit from the practice. And it was a slightly simplified version, but it's easy to incorporate into your everyday life.
Wonderful. So what are some of the benefits of Falun Gong?
It's really good on we call it mind and thoughts cultivation.
Yes.
Yeah, because Falun Gong requests everyone, actually, if you practice, you come to following the three principles: truthfulness, compassion, and tolerance. So there's no such a form saying you have to do this, have to do that. It's a very free exercise, but when you want to make it well for you, actually you have to change your mind. Say, for example, how to be a more peaceful or a nice person. Then the mind actually works with your body to get the benefit.
Yes, yeah. So with the values of, was it truth, compassion, and tolerance. I think we need more of that in the world. Wish more people could practice that.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. So and the health benefits, like physical health benefits.
Lots of people, after they practice Falun Gong, being very healthy. For many years, they don't really need to go to see doctors. And also, this healthy is not only seen from the body, but also from their mind. They're more positive, actively involved with their families and the community, or in their working place.
Wonderful. And is there nutritional components to it, or it's just
You
meditation?
can eat whatever you like. It doesn't. It's more about how your mind and heart are, and improving yourself based upon those principles of being true, being kind, and being tolerant. And a lot of people, after practicing even the meditation movements, find that their sleep is improved. They can get a good night's sleep every night. Their energy increases. So like with myself, I found that it's like, you know, recharging your batteries. It's just gives you a lot of energy doing the exercises, and generally more optimistic outlook on life as well.
Oh, that's really wonderful. And is there an age group?
No, you can.
Not really.
Yeah.
So anyone
practice
can
from-
do it, yes.
Actually, people start from the time while they was kids.
Yes.
I used to see really young one. Actually, the girls start from 2 years old, and seeing very old people, 80s, 90s. Yeah, just because the exercise is very round and smooth, slow, so it's not like a very strong sports. So it's suitable for anyone actually.
So anyone can do it. There's no health restrictions. So yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like my kind of
Everybody
thing
is.
to do.
It just improves your health. So a lot of people in China, the reason it became popular so quickly in China was because it had noticeable health benefits for people with illnesses that couldn't get them fixed by a doctor, for example, and so they'd just give Falun Gong a go because their friend told them it might work, and that's how it became so popular, because people actually were finding that their illnesses
A lot
were
of benefits. So so people that were sick, they could also start practicing, and they could see some improvements in in their
cured
health.
in their mind. Yeah.
Oh, wonderful.
I'd say that's one of the major reasons actually attracted a lot of people. From 1992 till 1999, there's about 700 million, sorry, is that 70 million to 100 million people following in China.
So those are people practicing. That's a lot of people.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
But I found there's another major reason as well. Even just for myself, as an example, I'm not starting practicing Falun Gong because of the healthy issue. For myself, it's more like it resolved a lot of questions for my life. I think probably everyone or most of the people will have the questions why I'm here and what I'm doing here. I used to think my home is actually behind the street. I found the one actually in front of the street is very cool. Why I'm not there?
Yes.
So there's a lot of questions about ourselves, what is life and what life for. So I found Falun Gong actually for myself actually resolved all the questions. I understand why I'm here.
Yeah.
I feel I'm trying to be better and better and to be a good person. So I found it's very good for myself, and also lots of especially young adults around me.
Yeah. So going a few steps back, so you said it was, it used to be passed on from master to master, and then to a disciple, and then it became open. So is it a form of a religion at all?
It's not a religion in terms of you don't have to worship, but it is like a spiritual practice.
Yes.
So it's like, say, what yoga used to be like in India. You would have the mind combined with the movements. So it's not just the movements, but you're also trying to improve your heart and mind. I'd probably more accurately describe it as a self-improvement practice for Western society to understand.
Yes.
But in China, they call it cultivation practice.
So what are we cultivating, the mind and body?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no such any kind of a policies to regulate people. If you want to come, we can teach you for free. There's no cost at all. If you want to go, nothing to stop you. So people actually, when they really found its benefit for themselves, they decide to commit, just keep practicing, keep cultivating themselves. So it's the willing actually starting from their hearts only.
Wonderful. So are you practicing here in Perth, and is there a place where people can come and learn?
Yes.
Yeah, there's a lot of practice sites around Perth. They're all taught for free by volunteers like Sam and myself, because we've benefited so much from practicing. We like to teach others as well, and we were taught for free, so we just pass it on. And you can go to I have them all on a meetup site, so it's like a Perth Falun Gong meetup site that, yeah, anybody can give it a go.
Oh, that's wonderful. Can't wait for that. Well, we'll take a short break and we'll be right back. Welcome back. I've got Tegan Davis and Sam Lin, and who are both Falun Gong practitioners. And we were just talking about the benefits of being a practitioner of Falun Gong before we went to the break. So is it okay if we could go back a little bit and remind our audience or viewers as to what the benefits are?
Sure, yeah. For me personally, I've found that it's very good with stress and improving productivity at uni, but other people find that their sleep is improved, their energy increases, and they're generally more optimistic. And of course, a lot of people, especially in China, found that their illnesses were cured. So, yeah.
Wonderful. And for you, Sam, what has been some of the health benefits you've observed?
I found I'm more healthy and energized. More importantly, for myself, I feel I found something important for the life. I feel my life is more meaningful. The goal is more clear and be positive to the society, to the family.
Yes, yeah. Oh, that is really good. So when you started practicing Falun Gong, Tegan, what was the reaction from your family?
Well, I think they possibly expected me to try some new form of meditation, because I'd been trying a lot of different types, yoga, tai chi, meditation, and this was the next one that I tried, and so they sort of expected that. But probably like when I stopped drinking alcohol and started treating my body healthy like all the time, they were quite shocked that I was being true to what I thought was the best long-term benefits for my health.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really wonderful. And for you, Sam, because this Falun Gong was only introduced in 1992, if I'm correct. So when did you start practicing it?
I started from 1993.
Yes.
Yeah, in May. I still remember that.
And what was the process like? Because if you still remember, it was in May. What were the details to the beginning of the practice?
I think that's just there was a little story. It's actually 3 classmates one day we were good friends. One day one of the girls actually told us, oh, there's a quite famous Qigong master coming to the town. Should we go have a look? Before that, actually, I'm not interested in any Qigong exercise, anything. But surprisingly, actually, I decided to go, and I found it's interesting. So I joined the lectures. That at that time, I remember that's 8 days or 9 days lectures. So we go every night to learn the exercises and also listen to our master to tell us the details, what Falun Gong is and what you need to do.
Yes. And you were inspired by that, and you were sold from the word go.
Yeah, then after that I just suddenly found it's another door opened. I feel I understand why I'm here in the earth and what I can do to be a good person, and behind that why. So I decided I just want to keep practicing, and also we call it cultivating our mind. So
I'm very intrigued by cultivating our mind. What does it really mean to cultivate the mind?
for my personal, I feel that's just changing the mind constantly. Because for weeds, we've got to cultivating weeds because weeds keep growing, keep growing. You cut it, but it grows again. Yeah. It's kind of like human beings. We're trying to get rid of lots of bad habits or bad thinking, yes. But it's sometimes still coming out. So I just get rid of it step by step. But when at the end, when we look back, we found that's such a big change.
So in a nutshell, because what's going on in my mind, it's like we're comparing the mind to a garden, and we need to look after it, remove the weeds to keep it nice and beautiful. And
the bad thoughts. And
yes, yeah.
Yeah. For another way of looking at it is instead of pointing the finger out and blaming others and complaining about what everybody else is doing, you point the finger inwards, because generally what you're upset about in other people is what you're upset about in yourself. So when you improve yourself and realise that you are like that person that you're complaining about or don't like a certain aspect, then you can understand that, you can be compassionate towards that person, you can understand that in yourself, and you can start to try to take that more lightly. And once you're aware of it, it's easier to let that habit or behaviour or mindset go. So in modern day, like Western terms, it's often described as like self-development or self-improvement practice. Like you're constantly thinking, am I being the best person here, or is that person really at fault, or is it me that's at fault? And you find a peace in that, because you all of a sudden you have control over your life. And
and I think that's what a lot of people need to also learn, that we have the power to actually control that.
Yeah.
And when you're saying about reflecting on the behaviors of others or their traits, does that count also for positive and negative traits?
Yeah. If you admire something in somebody else, often that's something that you haven't recognised in yourself yet. Yeah.
So basically we all have greatness within us, and we're also capable of doing other things.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And you can help. It's basically like a balancing mechanism. Yeah. Before practicing Falun Gong, I would be up and down in my emotions like this. Yeah. But now I feel more steady and even, because I am balancing those positive and negative thoughts to being more even, which means that I don't go down so negative and I don't go up so static, but it's a much more nice way to live.
It is, but I'm also like, for the benefits of, our viewers, it's not very easy to manage the emotions when things, are falling apart. So how do you center yourself? Or do you, probably we're going to have a bit of a demonstration of how to do it, but how do you center yourself when things are not going well?
Yeah, you can practice the exercises. So they're very gentle exercises, and you try to, during that process, you try to let go of your thoughts and focus your mind on the music. So it's got like a meditation music to go with it, and that really helps sometimes, and other times it's just about reflecting on your thoughts.
Another case probably can be while we work in the society, there's always a chance actually working to argue or something you're not happy with. Yes. But I found it's very practical actually if we really start to do it. I remember there's a case in my early working environment. One guy actually started to transfer to my department under me. But in initial months, actually, he doesn't like me. But we need to work together.
Yeah.
I found it's quite hard.
Yes.
Probably a lot of people will suggest, okay, just get rid of it. Maybe that's quite an easy way. But at that time, I already started to practice. So I just changed another way. I look myself saying, is there any way I can do better for him? Yes. Or understand better what he's looking for exactly? So with really dealing with him for a while, changing my mind. Yeah. At the end, he became a very close friend. So I found, wow, it's so powerful. Actually, changing ourselves is such an easiest thing comparing changing someone else.
Yes, yeah.
And I call it, it's really practical.
So is it easy to practice Falun Gong?
Yeah, they're very simple movements.
Wonderful. Are you able to demonstrate for us?
Sure, yeah.
Wonderful.
So standing with the feet about shoulder width apart, the knees are relaxed. Relax the whole body. And keeping the tongue to the roof of the mouth. And then we can join the hands by placing the right one on top of the left. Stretch up, pressing up with the hands and down with the feet, and immediately relax the whole body. Hands back to back and press the palms together. Put your right hand on top, stretch the whole body, and then relax. Do the same but for the other arm now. Stretch, relax. And then both hands out. Stretch and relax. Now out to the front. And out to the side. And then behind the back. And then out in front. And overlapping the hands at the belly. And that's the first exercise.
So can these same principles be taught, to kids in school? Because we have lots of incidents of bullying and yeah.
I would. Yes, I told my kids like that.
Yes,
you told your kids.
Just try your best.
Yes.
I'd love to go to schools and teach them the exercises and a little bit about the background and the principles as well. I think that's the way of the future as well.
Welcome back. So Sam and Tegan, we've talked a lot about Falun Gong. Is that how, am I pronouncing it right?
Yeah, Falun Gong. That's
Falun
correct.
Gong.
Yeah.
Yes. What is the actual meaning of that?
Would you like to, since it's Chinese?
Falun actually means the law will. Then in Chinese, Falun normally, in terms of the law, actually keep going, spinning.
Okay. Yes.
And regulating the world. Gong is actually the name comes from Qigong.
Yes.
Because at that time, people quite easy to understand. It's just like a Qigong exercise. So also our master saying, also giving a name like a Gong. Yeah, it's come from there.
And throughout, since 1992, the beginning, when it was released to the public, China has also seen a rise in people being targeted for organ trafficking.
Well, yes, it's actually not necessarily trafficking on the black market, but it's organ harvesting by the state. So this is a state-run policy. It's the hospitals, large hospitals in China, which are harvesting organs from prisoners of conscience. So it's not just a person taken off the street. These are prisoners that have been put in prison for maybe their spiritual or political beliefs, as well as criminals that are taken to be killed for their organs because they have very healthy bodies compared to the rest of the prisoner population.
And Sam, you were one of the prisoners in China.
Yeah, that was back to year 2000, and the persecution policy actually started from July of 1999. So after that, because there's a policy saying stopping Falun Gong in the whole country, starting from the ex-chairman Jiang Zemin. So at that time, every practitioner has been asked for stop practice, stop believing, although it's ridiculous because they stop you thinking in a certain way. They want to control that. It started from there. My personal story is actually in year 2000. While the policeman was looking for one of my friends, actually they end up caught me. At that time, I was helping another friend, actually looking after his daughter in his house. So they suddenly knocked the door and found me. Later on, they told us, actually, we're watching on you for a long time. Arresting you is just about the timing. So I start to know actually, because we practice just openly. It's nothing secret, nothing hiding. So I understand actually all our practitioners actually is in their list. They watching us in different ways, and also they control all the telephone companies, so they can easily track where you are, what you're talking about, everything. They know exactly where you are.
So there's heavy monitoring of people that are practicing Falun Gong.
Yes.
And everyone on the list is somehow at some point going to be arrested.
Yeah.
And once they get arrested, there's a higher possibility that their organs might be harvested.
In the beginning, we put it this way. In the beginning, actually, in the beginning, they just trying to get people give up. Then they found it's quite a kind of impossible mission, because for us, while we believe to be a better and better person, there's nothing wrong. And why I need to give up this believing. And also the key is we are following truthfulness. So it means we are always telling people the truth. When they're asking, are you still practicing? Yes, I am. So it's just so simple, but yes. People say, why don't you say, I stopped, I give up? I just feel we can't, because I'm doing that. It's just be true. So at that time, lots of people been arrested, thrown into heavy labor camps, or sent into prisons without any sentence, and also getting your family to give you, to force you to give up. That's probably something very hard for all the practitioners, because because they had this policy asking, saying you need to stop practicing Falun Gong, but people feel it's a wrong decision. So people want to appeal to the government. There's official channels, we believe. Yes. So people goes to governments or even central government to appeal, just trying to tell my story, why I become a Falun Gong practitioner and what I have been benefit from there. Just trying to tell our own stories, but end up all the practitioners actually being sent back to their original place and being persecuted and ask them, you have to give up, and at the same time get the family or the workman actually working in the company to watch you. And also at the end, even if you go to Beijing to appeal, they found you, your company will be affected by economically. Your kids probably couldn't go to school anymore. Then your wife or your husband probably lost their job. Your parents also might lost their jobs, something like that. They get the family begging you, please give up. Yeah. We just need a peace life. But for us, I want a peace life. Yeah. But you're just asking me to do something not right. It's just so hard to do it. So at the end, lots of practitioners choose not telling the policeman their name, because the government actually raise up the family members or friends actually to hate you, because you are doing the right thing, but they will be suffered in a certain way.
So in a way, they're trying to protect themselves by asking you to denounce the practice. So when you first started, and then when the government started making a crackdown and arresting, what was the reaction from your family?
Oh, obviously, my family are very worried about that. Actually, the first day I've been arrested, no one has been informed until, I can't remember exactly, 3 or 6 months later, my family get the first letter saying I posted out, but the policeman keep telling me, oh, you can write a letter, we posted out already. So I just totally disappear for a couple of months.
And your family had no idea where you were?
Any information being released. Yeah, I'm the person, actually they know exactly who I am. Yeah, but also there's a lot of practitioners, because of the reason I told you before, they choose not telling their names. So they become nobody. They become, at the end, as a number. Yeah, number 1, 2, 3, 4. That's how we believe. Later on, actually, there's a huge numbers of Falun Gong practitioners not being able to track by their family. That's how the base, the body be available. Yeah, this is the important background actually happened.
So they had a lot of essentially expendable, or like people with no names, that nobody could track down where they were, nobody could know who they were. So if they went missing, if they were killed for their organs, nobody would know. Because they didn't want to tell their names, because they didn't want to get their families in trouble or their workplace in trouble, or yeah.
That's very heavy. We'll take a short break and we'll be right back. Welcome back, and with me I have Tegan and Sam, and we are talking about organ harvesting and the practice of Falun Gong in China. Tegan, could you tell us a little bit about why this practice was banned and why people are being targets of organ harvesting?
Yeah, in 1999, the former leader of China, Jiang Zemin, essentially asked who's the most popular person in China at the moment. Turned out that the leader of Falun Gong, Mr. Li Hongzhi, was the most popular. There are about 100,000 people practicing Falun Gong in China in 1999 versus around 65 million members of the Communist Party. That made Jiang Zemin feel threatened for his own legacy, and we believe that his own personal jealousy came into play, so he wanted to ban the practice. He also banned the second most popular Qigong practice at the time as well. So Falun Gong was the most popular, he also banned the second most popular to try and wipe them out. It was also taught for free, so Falun Gong the government could not collect money from people practicing this.
Yes.
Yeah, so there are a couple of reasons.
So with the organ harvesting, who is benefiting from this?
So essentially the Chinese government will be making money out of it. Doctors will be making money out of it. There's a lot of people in all sectors of society who are involved in this, and I'm not exactly sure how much money each individual person is making, but it's estimated in the most recent report to be approximately a $10 billion industry in China. So this is a huge, at least, this is a huge economic business in China. It's making money out of the most vulnerable people.
So let me see if we've got this straight. So there's practitioners of Falun Gong, they get arrested, they get to be sent to prison. And in prison, like some, when you were arrested, there's a possibility that they could have harvested your organs.
Yeah, they generally, nowadays they have a policy where they'll blood test you. They will put your blood type on a database and then match that to the person who needs an organ transplant. They also do body scans to check that your organs are healthy.
Is this legal?
This is a policy. This is, I guess, yes, it's commonplace practice throughout China.
So when you become arrested, there's a chance that you might end up being an automatic organ donor without your consent.
Yeah.
And what is the international community saying about this? Has there been any condemnation from, even here in Australia or?
Well, Australia, we're still working on the Australian government condemning this practice, but other governments have condemned it. In 2013, the European Union condemned the practice, and just last year, in 2016, the United States condemned the practice. And this has taken a long time to get to this point. The organ harvesting started happening on a wide scale in the year 2000. It's now 2017. How much longer are we going to need to wait, and how many more thousands or millions of people are going to be killed for the profit of this regime?
And these organs, they're going all over the world. Are they only staying in China?
No, there's reports of people who've gone from all sorts of countries to China. People know that they can go to China and get an organ transplant within 1 to 2 weeks. In Australia, you'll need to wait, even a couple of years for an organ, because you're waiting for somebody to die with the right blood type. But in China, you can go there. There was at least 53 Australians have visited China to get an organ transplant, and you know, if you're getting them, if you're scheduling in the date when you're going to get that transplant, that means somebody is being scheduled to be murdered for that date. Yeah.
So, Sam, being in prison, how long were you there for?
That's a detention center. After they arrested me, I have been staying there about 9 months.
And how did you leave? Because and my understanding is that while you were there, you were also tortured.
Yes, on the day actually, they was looking for one of my friends, so end up arrested me. Then they are looking for getting information about my friend. So of course, in the beginning, I doesn't really want to tell them. I hope, and also I don't know as well. Another reason for the torture is let me give up the practice. So they started bit on my face, on my back, kick on my back, and later on they used the handcuffs on my hand and putting to the back, and they're hanging on a high window, so I can't touch the ground. So the whole body weight is on my waist. In the beginning, I just trying to counting the time, but obviously the pain is go further and further. I don't know when he gonna be end. It's really out of my thinking from a child, being a good child, listen to teachers, parents, to be a good student. Most of the time, I'm not exactly the top, but quite good on my scores through to uni, get a good job. I never think about what I should or I will encounter this kind of persecution, the torture. So it's really drive me mad. I didn't expecting the pain. It's so goes through my whole body, and it's just drive me crazy, drive me mad. At the end, I have to say I give up. I tell you something, but actually I don't have anything to tell them.
So how did you end up being released from prison and finding your way to Australia?
I think they feel I'm kind of like give up, but from my heart, I will never give up.
So you're still a practitioner?
From my heart, I will always say, this is the only way I should follow to be a good person. If it's not true, I don't feel there's anything else can be more true than this. Yeah.
So, Tegan, is there people in Australia that probably set up charities helping people that were probably arrested previously or trying to raise awareness?
Yeah, there's a lot of people who try to raise awareness. Often they're Falun Gong practitioners who are refugees like Sam from China, who might take to the streets. You'll see them in yellow t-shirts, maybe in the city. They'll be handing out flyers, and they're trying to get people to sign petitions as well to help condemn the practice and stop it. And there's also people can go to endorganpillaging.org, and there's online petitions that anybody can sign. That at the moment there's a petition to the United Nations, but at different times during the year there'll be different petitions, and yeah, we're...
So Tegan, how can ordinary Australians help?
Ordinary Australians can help by visiting the website called endorganpillaging.org and signing the online petitions there. At the moment there's one to the United Nations. That's very important, but also an easy way to help is just by telling others. A lot of people have not heard of this issue. It's been happening for 18 years, yet there's still so many people out there who have never heard of organ harvesting. If we can spread the word, then we're going to help put the pressure on the government as well to put in policy to condemn this practice in Australia. And the government listens to the people, so yeah, share the story on Facebook or however they'd like to go about it.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Sam and Tegan, for being here. I really appreciate you sharing your story, and hopefully, we raised more awareness about the situation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was Sam and Tegan, and my name is Nkandu Beltz, and we'll see you next time.